Good evening. Welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. I want to share with you today. Take care of your finances and your future. Take care of your finances and your future. You know, in this life, a lot of decisions are made with finances in mind, and a lot of decisions are made with the future in mind. Most people take professions based on the finances and based on the future. A lot of critical decisions are made with these two, the finances and the future. Have you ever met any professional who worked for 30 years, 40 years, and who went on retirement and tend to live in poverty and penury, even though they were very good, during the time that they were working, they live in a very, supposedly very successful life. And then they get into their retirement, 65 or 60 going, and everything ceases and they died, or they live for a while and their lifestyle showed like they had never worked or been professionally successful. Have you ever seen a doctor, a lawyer, a police officer, a teacher, a politician, sometimes pastors, all kind of professionals who end up, in their time of retirement with that much little to live with? Usually it's because they had little information or little discipline with respect to the future and the finances that would be needed, that they did not give a lot of attention to. Those of us who are practicing as a private people, they say, sometimes you meet somebody and they say that, oh, those of you who have your own work, so to say, there's no pension for you, so you just have to be extra careful. But the people I see who have pension, a lot of them, when they are pushed into retirement, have you seen that people who least expected that there will be, especially government appointees or government positions, maybe they had a position when there was a political party that they supported, and then when that political party loses the power and they sack them, do you see how many of them, their lifestyle decrease, and some of them easily get into all kind of health complications, and some of them even die? Why these things happen is because they did not plan for their finances and they did not plan for their future. They did not take care of their finances and they did not take care of their future. If anybody had to tell you something as a human being, it will be responsible for your own finances and be responsible for your own future. I think that in our culture, we live a lot in the present. We live in the moment. Very few start life planning for the future, say when they are 70 or when they are 65 or when they are even 60. Very few. If you look at a lot of the young people around 20, 30, even 40s, I don't think it's in so much in the culture that we plan to live 70, 80, 100, and when we stop working, how we are going to survive. Have you met a lot of the men and women who are in their 60s and 70s especially those who were not on SNET pension plan, who the only strategy that they have for their retirement, so to say, is to be calling young people or their children every day, every now and then, to be asking for money, for money to go for funerals, money to pay their rent if they didn't build their own houses, or even to repair their houses, money to take care of their their health issues, to eat, all kind of things. Why? Because they did not plan for that future. They least expected that it will come, and it has come, and they have nothing to live on. Life is that at the point that you need the finances the most, that usually is the point where the employment don't want us. That's the point that we don't have job, or that's the point that we have health implications. The point that you need that you're that fragile, that you have worked all your life and now you're 60, 70, that you should have accumulated some level of wealth that should take you maybe for the next 20, 30 years. And usually most people don't have that. I think that the best strategy most people in our culture have, especially the majority of the people, are not the teachers, the doctors, the lawyers, the judges. No. Majority of the people that we have are the farmers, the traders, people who are taking care of themselves. They may not have been so much educated. They just had to live. And maybe maybe they didn't even work, so-called formal, work. So nobody paid any SNET for them. And they didn't also pay any SNET for themselves. So their only strategy, or their retirement plan, is maybe their children. Now, how about if the children don't also have? Then you see that the people will live in pain and in sickness and in poverty and in lack. And it becomes continuous. The next generation picks it up and it's perpetual. Even sometimes, the people that we call professionals, sometimes there's not that much difference between them and those who they call informal. Because sometimes you can see a formal education is a former teacher, former doctor, lawyer, politician, the people you call professionals, technocrats, who are pushed into retirement, which I don't think that anybody should retire anyway. I think that you should work till you die. I think so. Even if it's not 8 to 5, there should be some kind of activity for every human. After all, the president is 73 years. He's not on retirement. He travels and works more than any of us, So I really don't think that anybody should be pushed into what they call retirement. That's my opinion. I think you should do something. You should be active. But let's assume that they push you into retirement. Your doctor, your teacher, your whatever, and your only strategy was for SNET. Technically, your lifestyle will be reduced, because I'm not sure SNET is going to pay you all this kind of money that maybe you were being paid, or maybe you had access to. And so my first point is that you have to make that decision not to leave your finances and your future in anybody's hands, and that there should be a plan for the future, because the future will come. Just the other day I was 10 years, the other day I was just 20 years, and now I'm more than that. Now, the thing about it is that if nobody tells us to plan for this, you blink and you are now heading towards the old age. and you didn't plan for anything, because most people, the only plan they have is go to school, look for a job, build, marry. The plan for the finances usually is not there, because we just spend the money. We are not investing the money. We are not trying to build some kind of structure for the money, that the little money that you receive, the excess. Majority of the people don't do that. Even those who are aware, maybe they will just leave it for SNET or go and buy treasury bills, and that is the only plan that they have. Even that is not bad. At least they are trying to take some step for it. But I don't think your future should solely be in the hands of another man or any other institution. Your future should be on your terms. Your finances should be on your terms. Not so much that you have many, but at least the one that you can live on. Your future should not be your children. That you hope that your children will become doctors and lawyers, so that's why you're working. That's what the way they tell us here. Kwasi muntina me adwuma so that that it's good. Your children should be responsible to take care of you. How about if you happen not to have those kind of children, or you don't have children at all? Or how about if they also tend to struggle? Most of these young men and women, by the time that they are 20, they are thinking of marrying. So you can't use them as your security for the future. And the moment they marry, they will use all the money to go and do the wedding anyway. And then they give birth. So, and how much are they being paid? Not that much for them to take care of themselves, their children, everything involved, and also to take care of the parents, the mother, the father, or the siblings. So your strategy cannot be that all your children will become successful and take care of you. Hopefully you get there, but it doesn't have to be chances. And how do you plan to sustain the same kind of lifestyle that you have now in the future when you're 60, when you're 70? Maybe you're spending 2,000 every month. Now you go on retirement. That is if you had any plan at all. And the senators give you maybe 1,000. The difference, how are you going to take care of it? It is your life, it's not Senate life. It is your life, it's not your children's life. It's your life, it's not anybody's life. So you cannot plan that, oh, I'm praying for all these children that I've helped so that in the future they will take care of me. It's a good plan, but I think that your future should be in your hands. Your future should be in your hands. So if you're young now, at least if you're not planning for anything, have your own plan that maybe I'm saving 100 or 50 every month, and when it gets to 2,000, I'm going to invest it in something that I'm going to leave it there for a very long time. Some people get into insurance, some people get into all kind of investment, but at least it should be the future that you want to take responsibility of. It's your life. It should not be another person's life, and it should not be another person's duty to take care of you. Yes, I should take care of my parents, and if I have enough, I should be able to have that kind of responsibility. But how about if I don't have? Shouldn't they leave? That's why most people die that much early, the moment they go into retirement. You hear the man who was 65, he was very jubilant, he was very vibrant, so to say, and the moment he goes on retirement and he has nothing to do, which should not be the case, and all these kind of sicknesses start to come up, because in taking care of our future does not only include even just the finances, our health, our lifestyle, the knowledge that we are operating with. Because if you don't have strong knowledge, you grow old quickly, especially when you become inactive, when you are sent into the so-called retirement. And some people go into retirement, let's say they were police people. When they go on retirement, they say that they want to start a business. And a lot of them lose the money because they did not plan for that future business. So they did not read any material, they did not study anything. They didn't train themselves for that business. And so the little savings that they had, now that they have gone on retirement, they think that business is a hobby. Business is not hobby. Business is tough. And if you had not done it, if you didn't do anything of that sort, and you just say that, oh, like the way Ghanaians quote a lot of Americans, say, oh, Kenneth Sanders, he started his business when he was in retirement. Do you know how many of them didn't survive? 1,001. 1,001. Because it's exhausting, it's demanding, it's hard work. And so if you didn't train to enter into business and you never got close to it it will not be a good time to go and try a business when you're 65, 75, and you have no knowledge, no strength, no expertise. And you can't say that I want to do it as a hobby. It's not a hobby. Business is not a hobby. Business is serious game. It's not a hobby. So I'm talking about take care of your finances and take care of your future. Your finances, not just your finances for the future, your finances from now to that future, because that future will come anyway. And if you happen to be an entrepreneur, they say that nobody will take care of you. So you have to be responsible for that future that is just around the corner. You know, that 60 years will just come, that 70 years will just come at the blink of your eyes, you know. So plan for them because they will come. And you should live the future on your terms, not on the terms of poverty or at the mercy of another person. You should take, not at the mercy of your children, not at the mercy of the government, not at the mercy of anything. It cannot be that God will take care of me. You should take care of it. He gave you brains. Take care of that future. And it will mean that the money that is coming now, you're using some to plan for that future. A lot of us, our only strategy is to go to school, go to school, go to school. So every money that we get the first degree, we go the second degree, we go the PhD, we go for ACCA, lawyer, all kind of things. And some of them are not scholarships. Some of them are, you know, hard cash that you're using to pay school fees, and you have nothing saved for that future. Okay. And then maybe you're 50. Now you're going to use all your money to go and get law degree. You have just 10 years to work into retirement if you happen to work in the government sector or something like that. I think that the money for the future is as important, because what makes the future a bit more threatening for most people is because they don't have enough money in the future. They don't have enough leverage. So if they live on the borderline, they worry. They worry a lot. They worry so much because they don't know when the next thing is coming from. You know, so I think that the money saved for the future is important. The money invested for the future is so much important. And it calls for some level of knowledge. And sometimes if you look at those who worked and those who didn't work, those who went to school and those who didn't went to school, the difference in the future and how they end their lives in terms of when they are 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, usually has nothing to do with the kind of education they had, the kind of profession that they had. It's more of the kind of choices that they made with their finances and that future that they had in mind. Because some people who didn't go to school at all, who didn't work in a lot of this profession, kind of work, but who were able to take care of their finances, even in their old age, they still live like, they were young. They still look clean, dressed, live in a nice house. They still look rich because they took care of that future. They didn't leave it. Have you ever met some of these people who shoot movies or account drama and people like that, and when they get into critical moments of their life and they say that the government does not care about them, Ghanaians don't take care of them. My question is, who was the government taking care of? You are a movie, you are a footballer, or you are camera, something. Those people on TV, like Osofodazi and OD, those kind of guys, or maybe the musicians. Most of the way they die in poverty, and it's not good. It's disheartening. And sometimes they just have to plead for people to help them with money when they are sick, and I don't think it's right. It's not because money did not come to them. It's not because nothing. It's because maybe they had little knowledge and they had little discipline to plan for their future. And most often, they probably didn't think that future will come. And so, you see them, the other time I was watching TV and I saw some of them, and it didn't look good. And old age and poverty is almost like meeting fire with gas. It's so dangerous. So dangerous. That should be the time that you should not lack. You should not be 60 years, 70 years and be thinking of what to eat. When you meet people like that, and that's why sometimes people go, their minds, virtually people go crazy when they get that. Sometimes you are in the office or you are on the street and you see somebody who speaks very good English. He's a pensioner, and life is tough for them because this society probably is not planning for a lot of those. So you have to plan for that. I watched the TV the other time. I looked at one of those guys, and it was sad. It was sad because this was a man who was very popular on TV, you know, very handsome man, and now he's in 70s and all the teeth, bad shape, bad shirt, the skin is gone, and you can see hopelessness. And I don't think that's the way we should end life. I don't think that we should end life in sickness and in poverty. I don't think so. I don't think so. People can die healthy. People can die wealthy. And it doesn't happen by chance. It happens by planning. So it's not so much today. It's not so much you trying to get all their positions and your workplace. They're sending you to America. They're sending you here. They're saying you are very happy. Or even it's not so much the salary that they are paying you. Sometimes it's not even so much that the business or the contracts that you are getting, but how well you plan for that future, because that future would definitely come. And most of us live as if you will not be in their old age. Some of the people who are rich, who have money, some of them are 70 years, 80 years, and you still see them. And you know that this money would have gone quicker than now if you didn't have money. Because when they have money, they are able to go to the hospital to check a lot of things. They live. The pressure is a bit low because they are not thinking that if something happens, who will take me to the hospital? And they can take them to good hospital because they have money. They have money. Those who plan for that. It's not those who lived extravagantly or those who had all kind of positions that end life in dignity. The latter part of their lives in dignity is those who prepared for them. Have you not seen some of the top police people who at the end of their life look like they never went to school or they never served their country or never worked anywhere? Or have you never met any government official, when their party went out of power, and you look at them and you thinking like, was this man? Is he the one, or I'm mistaken? Or have you not seen maybe a serious lawyer, that you saw his name everywhere, that at the end of his life he lived in pain and poverty? And some of them is because you even felt that their children deserted them or things like that. I don't think that your future plan in terms of your finances should be your children. I think it's a bad plan. Or some of the children can be crazy, or they can go and marry somebody who's different, or they can travel and you never hear of them again. And you should not leave your future in prayer, that God will take care of your future. No, it's your future. You plan for it. You plan for it, and we plan for it from now. And it will show in how well we keep money, and we conserve money, and we plan, knowing that the money sometimes will be needed when we can. So how are you investing the money? It's a plan for you to have an investment plan, and it doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur or you are. Of course, if you're an entrepreneur and you stay with it and you stay with the process, you seem to have some kind of money than any other group, especially those who are not stealing. Some people have access to stolen money. I'm not talking of that. I'm talking of people who are trying to build businesses. If they stay with the process, they tend to have a lot of money. But that does not even mean that your future is secure. You have to plan for that future, because any disaster can happen to the business, and it may happen at the point that you are not strong. So you plan for that future. And if you happen to have a profession, whatever it is that you think you are doing, don't leave your future in the hands of Senate, and don't push all your future in building 10-bedroom houses, 15-bedroom houses, or buying all the Land Cruisers and driving, and you have nothing for the future, or not building investment for the future. Where are you locking the future? What are the investments that you're building? Are you planning of owning cocoa farm, orange farm, building some houses that you can rent, investing in some businesses, some shares? Do you have any plan like that? Or your only plan is to be going to school, going to school, going to school? Some people's plan is only like that. The future plan is only go to school, go to school, go to school. So today they are lawyer, tomorrow they are doctor, the next day they are studying another thing. That's not a good plan. The good plan for your future is to make sure that you have access to money. Even if the money is not there, you have invested the money or you have spread the money in some places that when you so need them in your critical moment, you'll be able to access them. So improve the finance knowledge because it will be needed. It will be needed. And that future is your responsibility. Never leave that future in anybody's hands. It is your responsibility. Your future should not be somebody's plan B. It is your life. And the most important thing for any man is for him to have that consciousness that my life is my responsibility. It's not another person's responsibility. Because I've seen people who have followed people all their lives and forgot that it was their lives. And then they, along the line, they become that much disappointed because they will feel like somebody else let them down. I don't think so. I think that your future is in your hands. You plan for it. You plan for it. Don't say that your children are your future. Like the way they tell us here. They continue to tell us, oh, I'm investing. Take care of your children. Help them. Send them to good schools. Teach them. But the best form of training that you give to your children is not because they become lawyers and doctors. No. Think that if you're going to teach your children anything, teach them how to be responsible for their own future and for their own finances. For their own future and for their own finances. Don't just be happy with you see the way they talk here. And my child is going to become a doctor, police officer, teacher. I really don't care what you become. I care how you're able to take care of yourself financially and how you're able to take care of your future. You think you're future conscious, you're planning. So you can become anything: footballer, artist, singer. You can even decide not to do anything. So far as you have good financial plan and you take care of your money, the rest help society with whatever gift that God has given you in whatever area that you have. But so far as you are in control of your own financial future, I don't have problem with you. So for me, that is what I think my children should know. Because some people can become lawyers, doctors, judges, and their end is miserable because nobody told them that you will need money when you're 70 years. So you plan for that. You don't leave everything in the hands of the government, and you don't leave anything in the hands of state institutions like SNET, and you don't leave anything in the hands of anybody trying to pray for you. No, it is your life. You plan for it. And so now that the money is coming to you, now that you are getting some kind of revenue, how are you thinking of that future? Are you able to plan, said that maybe in the next 20 years you have something like 100,000 saved somewhere, or something like 200,000 invested somewhere? Can you think of that? Or maybe 1,000,000, depending on your strength, but something that you can live on for the next 20 years, depending on your lifestyle. Or you are just pumping all the money that you have in building a big house that you and your wife are going to live in. And if you're a man and you're married, it's not only you planning for your future, the woman's future is also part of what you have to plan for. So it's not knowledge that is that much. It's not knowledge that is in the air. You don't really hear most people who are strong in their 30s, in their 40s, planning for the next 40 years when they are old. A lot of them are just career and job, career and job, career and job, and marry and party and go to church and stuff like that, and hoping that somebody else will take care of their future. I think it's a bad plan for the future, and sometimes it's a recipe. It's a reason why some people die early. Because when they thought they were nurse. They were nurse for 20 years, 30 years, and then they got into their 60s or 65, and then they told them that go on retirement. And then when they went on retirement, the net money was not able to take care of them, and then disaster, starts to come in. and you see that they think, they worry, they think, and maybe they were hoping that their children will come in to help them, which they usually do. But I don't think that any parent is really proud that their children are the one taking care of their retirement. I think that if they are proud that of the fact that they were able to plan for the life, and that they even have a lot of money invested that they can even give it to their children or their grandchildren. So it's not like you're going to get into your old age and your children are the ones to take care of your hospital bills and be thinking of how to buy coffee for you, the casket for you, and come and buy clothes and all those. That's not, if they do it out of kindness, it's good, but it does not have to become a necessity that if they don't come to do it, then you have nothing. And after all these years that you have worked as an engineer, as a doctor, as a pastor, as all kind of professions that you have done, then you go into the latter part of your life, and all the things that you went through, you are dying as somebody who didn't do anything. I think it's a bad plan. It's a bad plan. So take care of your future, take care of your finances, because the future is full of the finances actually. And if anybody controls your finances, they control your life. They control your life. If they control your finances, they control your life. That's the fact. If you have to wait, if you have to wait for somebody to give you something before you can move, I mean, they technically control your life. And that is not what you really want to do. So if you happen to be a trader, a business person, you work for yourself, so they call it that way. Maybe you have a shop, maybe you have whatever that you have, and you can open something with Snake as well. Go and tell them that you want to. They accept that. Go and tell them that you want to make contributions. So maybe every month you want to give 100 Ghana or something. They accept that. It's a good plan. At least if you have nothing at all, to be a good plan for you, because when you're old, at least if nobody comes through, that one will be there for you. But the best of it is being able to strategize, so that even when you're old, you will still have revenue coming in from all the things that you invested money in. Some people will go and build mango farms, cocoa farm. Some people will go and build houses that they can rent. Some people will have their businesses that are people are working and they are being paid, dividends or something like that. Or some people will, what kind of things that people do? Some people will go and buy shares, mutual funds, things like that, treasury bills. But have a strong plan, and it should not just be shares, or it should not just be building houses that you can rent, or it should not just be cocoa farm. Have a mixed plan, have something. But no matter our age, we plan for it, because that time will come anyway. And if you want to live long, I think money is one of the best strategies to live long, because poverty kills people more than any other thing. If you don't know, poverty kills people more than any. It's not diseases that are killing people. It's poverty. It's poverty. It's desperation. It's worry. It's fear of the future. Most people fear the future. Most people don't want to lie poor. They want to die poor. The fear that in my old age, how am I going to eat? Who will take care of me? It's a fear. If you have money, somebody will come to take care of you. So plan the future. Plan the future, because it will come. It will come. And I don't think that you should go through all this. You should worry to send children to school, go to here, go to here, go here, and they end up going into their 60s, their 70s, and they have nothing when they are in retirement. I don't think it's important. So that's why I think that the money, the finances, should be different from the education. Okay, and I think that the finances should also be different from the profession. So you don't jam them. A lot of people jam them. A lot of people think that, oh, when I go to school and I get a good job, I'll get money. That's a bad strategy. The financial, it's like air. It's a common denominator. Everybody uses it. So you cannot tie it to school or profession. Everybody uses it. So that's why the woman who is selling kelewele can have more money than a doctor because finances don't have nothing to do with school. School gives you profession. It makes you intelligent. You're able to analyze issues. But you analyze issues that they told you. And so if they didn't teach you the finances, you cannot analyze it. Maybe they told you how to build blocks and build houses and do engineering drawings. That's what you're going to analyze. So if the finance was not an information that they gave you, you cannot use that. So the school is important. It makes you bright, it makes you confident, you become assertive. It's good, but it's not going to make you rich. And don't confuse the school with the money. And that's one of the most difficult things for you to tell the Africans, that the school is different from the money. The school is different from the profession. If it is not true, go to the village. Somebody has cocoa farm. He has millions. Somebody is one kind of thing, professor from Harvard, who has nothing. Okay, because the money is a common denominator. It's independent of sex, of color, of profession, of school. Money is independent of that. So don't never confuse money with the fact that you want your children to go and study architecture because you think that architects have money. Who told you? Money is a product of productivity. It's a product of right financial knowledge, financial discipline, financial decisions, and they have nothing to do with school at all. School just gives you profession, gives you some. You are the only one who know that you have gone to school and you're proud of it. The other person may never know at all. Because money is different from the school. But it's so difficult for you to tell people money is different from the job that you're looking for. No matter how much salary they pay you, that which you will need to take care of that future is more than just the salary information that you have. To be a plan that you're building for the future. Because that job, by all means, you will live there. And when you live there, how much money would you have invested? Would you have saved? Would you have put into your future? That one will have nothing to do with whether you're a doctor or lawyer, because the thing is that if you are being paid 2,000 a month, you live according to that. And if you're being paid 20,000 a month, most people live according to that. Most people, if they have 2,000, they live probably in one bedroom house or something like that. If they pay them 20,000, they want to get a big house at East Level. So, it's just a lifestyle that has gone up, but does not mean that they have money for the future. They have big house, but that big house is not bringing money. Just taking money from them all the time. And that's why you can see somebody who is big, in quote, in society, who goes on retirement, and the next minute his lifestyle has to drop. His lifestyle has to drop because he didn't have that financial knowledge, financial understanding to plan for that future. And most of these people we send to university, that they are the most responsible for liable for this kind of lifestyle, because they believe so much in the profession that they had, or in the positions that they had, that they forgot to plan for the future. So plan for the future. Plan for it. Plan for it is independent of the school. It's independent of the education. It's independent of all the accolades that they are giving you. Because if you don't know, go and look for those people that you saw on TV 20 years ago. You so much admire them. And some of them have sicknesses that they have to virtually beg everybody to go to hospital. I don't think that is the way you have to plan your life. And people look at that and they say that life is something, life is something, it's not life is something. Life is full of decisions and choices. And if you don't have the right information, then our decisions and choices will be misinformed, and then the results will not be the ones that we so much cherish. So it's not like this life can just be anything. It's because we did not plan for it. So for me, if I don't plan for the future, the next 20, 30, 40 years, I cannot wait for my children to come and take care of me. I don't think that's right. If I have to go and do cocoa farm or something, I have to do. If I have to have some pineapple farm or maybe coconut farm, If I have to build some apartment and take 100 Ghana every month for it, I would have to do. If I have to invest in some other people's businesses, go and buy treasury bills, I just have to have some little plan. If I have to spend my youthful years now trying to build businesses that will grow to take care of me, I have to do that. So the business is also a tool to take care of your future. If you have 1, 2, 3, 4 businesses and they are all doing 10 million every year, that's a lot of money. So if you even get 5% of that money, you can invest it somewhere. So you can spend your life trying to build businesses and create, because business is a wealth creation tool. If you don't know that business is a wealth creation tool, that's why it takes a lot of pressure to build one. So if you know how to build it and you can invest, you can trade your resources, your intelligence, your time to build a business, it becomes a wealth creation tool for the future. So somebody has built a bank, it will take care of him. Somebody has built a hospital. Somebody has built a big commercial farm. Somebody has built an insurance company. Somebody has built big retail, shop, provision shop, whatever that people build. Somebody has built a manufacturing plant. Somebody is building a food processing company. He's using his life to invest in a business, and that business will possibly be there when he's old. He could leave the business for another person to manage, and his future will not be that much bad compared to somebody who didn't do that. So for you to keep the lifestyle that you have, for this future that you have to plan for it and never leave it in another man's hands, and never hinge your future on the fact that you think what is it some people are religious, so they will start to be quoting, my future is in the hands of God and things like that. In the Bible, there are a lot of things, and money. The way I look at the Bible, the money is just a product of good decisions and choices and discipline and actions, more than any other thing. More than any other thing, money for the future is a product of good decisions and choices when you had it. So it's not my future is in the hands of God. Please, He just came to die for all of us. But your future, my future, we have to plan it. And we have to plan it today. Our health, the way we are living today, is about 90% the reason why we will get whichever health. And you don't have to live in sicknesses, even if you're 90 years or 100 years. If our choices are right today, you can live in health before you go. So let the future be in it. Plan your life as if you will live 90, 80. Plan it. Don't let them scare you. A lot of people are scaring people with Jesus is coming, you are going to die kind of messages. I think that most people, if they were the Jesus themselves, they would have killed a lot of people, because some people talk like they are God. When I go through town, or sometimes at dawn, you hear some people preaching and telling people how to accept Jesus. Like, who will take this and accept Jesus? Because you are virtually threatening people. And I think that there's some bit of desperation in people's edge to try to use God to control people. People use God to control people. People use God to enslave people. And it's that rampant. And they can use that to control your future. They can use that to control your future. So have a plan, because people will have plan for your money. They'll tell you support the work of God, and you have nothing saved for your future. So they will take all kind of money from you every Sunday, and you have nothing to save for your future. When you're old, nobody will be there. It will be your responsibility. It will be your life. It will be you. And they were planning for their future. If you don't know, so plan for yours. You cannot leave it to another person. So my name is Kwabena. I am talking about take care of your finances and take care of your future. So I'm wrapping up, and I am saying that nobody is responsible for that future. Nobody is responsible for their finances. It's you. And never put your finances in another man's life, in another man's hands. It's you. It's you. The plan that you have. And the future, when you're old, when you meet people who are desperate, who look, you have to pity them, and you hear their story, where they have been, where they have worked, You only look at them and you feel miserable because they are poor. Usually, most people, they are poor. If they had money and if they are sick, they will go to the best of hospitals. You never even see. They will get the best of treatment. They'll have people around them taking. They will live in nice houses and they were sick. But if they were sick or they are sick and they don't have money, that is a whole different situation. So when people grow and you see them and you're sad, it's because they're poor. It's not because anything. And poverty and old age don't have to meet. You can't work all your life 40 years, and when you have another 20 years to live or 30 years to live, you live in pain, you live in struggle. You are always calling people, asking them to send you some penny. It's dangerous. So dangerous. You cannot use all your strength today, and tomorrow you have nothing, and you die like you never live. It's so dangerous. And so that's why I tell my children, you have to have money. You can become doctor, lawyer, I don't care. You can become a business person, I don't care. But the money is the common denominator that you have to have. If you don't have some saved, people will just throw you like that. Okay? And your future is not in the degrees that you are chasing on. People have 10 of them and they still died in poverty and they died in pain. Because most people who die in poverty die in pain. You don't want to die in pain. You don't want to die knowing that you couldn't afford that drug. That's why he died. They could not afford that surgery. That's why they died. No, they were living in a bad environment. They were, that's why. Because poverty for the old age is dangerous. You don't need poverty. And so now that you're strong, that's now that you plan for your future. Don't leave it for another man, and don't use your children as your pension plan. They are not your pension plan. They could be different people. They have their lives. Just as you have your life, they have their life to live. And they have the decision to make. If you're lucky, they will look up to you. They will turn to you. If you're not, it is their life. You cannot hold them responsible. You can say that my children are not taking care of me. You become bitter. I don't think that, in as much as it's morally sound, children should take care of you. And I would want to do that for my parents. I think that my parents must also have a plan for their own future. Because most of these children that you are spending money to send into school now, by the time that they finish national service, they want to go and marry. Okay, so the little money that they have saved, that you were thinking that they will send it to you, they are going to use it for wedding. And when they do the wedding, after the wedding, they give birth. How much money do they have? So by the time you see it, they are also in the same critical financial situation for the next 30 years. And they may not even also plan for the future, because they are in haste. So you can't use them. You can't use them at all for your future. You have to plan for your future. Whether you trade, whether you sell tomato, you sell whatever, whether you go to the farm, you're a lecturer, you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, nobody is responsible for your life and your future. You are. And you should have, supplementary plan, even for SNET, even if somebody is paying you for that, because anything can happen to SNET. But it's your life. It's your life. So, some people also have other pension plans. But for me, just like my grandfather, he had his own cocoa farm, and he had his own things that he was doing. He didn't have SNET, but he didn't live poor and died poor. No, he never went to school. He could not read. He could not write. But he had a plan. He had a plan for his future. And he didn't hinge his plan on his children's prospects. That was an intelligent man. I know that he hoarded a lot of sand when he was young. So in his latter part, last days, he was selling the sand to take care of himself. So that was a simple plan, but I think it worked. And he had an orange farm, he had cocoa farm, and people were bringing him those kind of money every year. And I think that's a better plan than you just leaving everything and you saying that you have gone to school. Now, he could not read, he could not write. His other colleagues who could read, who could write, who became teachers, died poor. They didn't have any pension plan. Most of them. So when they went into pension, the next 5 years they were gone. Now my grandfather, he died around 93 or 94, 96, something like that. And he was still very strong. Why? Because he had money. So when you have the money, at least the one that he could use to buy food and buy drugs and things like that, and buy his call it drinks, things like that, he had them. So he was not overthinking. And I think that is the essence of it. So it's not just about you becoming all this, developing all this career that you are developing, even though they are important, and living the future. It's not about you building 10-bedroom house, 15-bedroom house, getting all kind of positions, and you put your future on hold. And it happens to a lot of us who went to school, because financial knowledge is not taught in school. It's not taught in school. Financial knowledge is coming from the best place it come from. To come from will be maybe your parents. Maybe your parents. That's the only way. And I think you get. So if your parents didn't teach you anything about finance, and your school didn't teach you anything about finance, and your society knows nothing about finance, you will be there and you get 60. And when you're going for the funeral, which they do anyway, they go to funeral every weekend, and I do understand that. And they go to parties and they are calling everybody to send them money. I don't think that's a good plan. And when they are sick, everybody would have to send them money. And when their rent is due, you have to say no. It's not good. So take care of your finances, take care of your future. It's in your hands. It's nobody's duty. Don't leave it in the hands of God, because God gave you brains. Take care of your own finances. Plan. So if you go to a lot of the countries that are developed, they talk a lot about how they are planning for their pension. They talk a lot about that. But I don't think we talk a lot about that. I think we just, hopefully, SNET will take care of us. Oh yeah, our children will take care of us, or God will take care of us. I think there should be plan B. Don't leave it to your children, don't leave it to God, and don't leave it to the government. And you can live creditably with a lot of ethics and values, and plan your life and be in the old age as rich, as clean, and somebody who lived, and which your children or society will be proud of. Some people have been 90 years and you still look at them and they are that much responsible. They don't look poor, and they probably did not steal the state's money, because they had better plan for the finances, and they had better plan for the future. Don't become one of those movie actors and singers and those kind of people who, anytime they have emergency, they come to the radio or on TV and come and weep and cry that people should come and help them. That's not a good example at all, because they had profession and they should have taken care of their future. It's painful for us to see those. It's not a good example at all. I think they should not be showing that. If you want to help them, help them. Why do you go to see these people, take them, sit? The other time I saw Joel Aka, and it was not good. It was pathetic. Somebody was singing, and he was even complaining that his party had deserted him, things like that. What do you think? If they don't have any use of you, they won't come to you. Okay, so when you get into those kind of critical situations, very few people will show up. So what do you have to wait for them? You have to plan. You have to plan. If you are not planning anything at all, you should at least plan to get at least 100,000 for your future in investment. At least some kind of 100,000. I don't know if 100,000 can be enough for you to move from 65 to say 80 years or something. But at least if you have 100,000 invested, even in treasury base, you'll be fine. So you can start to plan for that. Maybe some people will need 2 million, 3 million, 10 million. I don't know. But you cannot leave your future in the hands of any other man. It's your duty. You don't have to become like Sophodazi. You look at him and you like, the man was crying, but you could see that he was not proud of how his life had become. Because nobody is proud being old and poor. Nobody. When they need money to buy drug and they don't have it, they become bitter. They look back and they see how much money came to their hands and how they've been wasteful, all the people that they helped that who did not return the help, and they could sit down and talk about all this all their lives. The only reason they do that is because they did not have good plan for their future. Okay, so the future does not just happen. You create it. You create that future. It's not just going to happen like that. You create it. You create it. You build it. Your life. You build it by yourself. You build it yourself, and you build it independent of the profession, independent of the kind of education that you think you have had. They are totally independent. Forget about your education when it comes to your future. When it comes to the life that you're going to live after serving your country. Okay, because the money is very much neutral. Everybody uses it. So plan for that future. Plan for that future. It's your responsibility. Never leave it to another man. And don't put that future in a very big house. That is not going to give you revenue. If you think that somebody owns a big house, somebody owning a big house means that he's rich, you have a very poor financial knowledge. If you think that somebody driving a very big car means that he's very rich, you have a very poor financial knowledge. If you think that your profession is going to make you very rich, and somebody's somebody's paying you, and you think that that profession, if you get there, you'll be rich, you have a very poor financial understanding. You don't know. You don't know. And if you think that you have to live big for people to believe that you're rich, you don't know what it takes to be rich. If you think that you have to work 3-4 jobs for you to get money, to become wealthy, you have no idea what it is. Finance follows productivity, follows financial intelligence, follows financial knowledge. And part of it is knowing what brings in more money than what takes money away. So if you are building a very big house and you are going to live in with your wife for the next 30 years, you have a very poor financial understanding. If you think that you are going to get all these 20 certificates, and by the time that you get the 10th to 20th certificate, somebody will find you and pay you a very good money. Nobody pays any good money to anybody because of certificate. They pay good money to people because they can bring in resource. Okay. If not even a university, if you're a professor and you don't teach well, they will sack you. If you don't have the certificate. So the money is different, and take care of it is your duty. It's my duty as well to take care of the finances, the future. So I have to plan. I have to plan and work towards it, so that when I'm 70 years, when I'm 80 years, when I'm at 90 years, I will not wait for my children to come and take care of me, or I will not wait for the government or my church or the society. And if they don't come, you die in pain and you die in poverty. So you don't have to die like that. You plan your life so that you can die in health, and you can die in prosperity. And they say that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. It means that a man who had good financial understanding. It doesn't mean that the man who was not drinking. If you are not drinking and chasing women and you had poor financial understanding, you cannot leave any inheritance for any children. So if they say good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, it means that the man had good sense on what an inheritance was, and part of it, I think, is not poverty, it's prosperity, it's good finance, they leave assets. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.